Right now, there is a voice inside your head. It is reading these words with you. It sounds like you. It thinks your thoughts. It has been with you for as long as you can remember. But here is the question nobody asks. Where did that voice come from? You never chose your language. Someone handed it to you before you could even walk. But what if no one had? What if you had been raised in total silence? No words, no lullabies, no one ever speaking to you. What language would grow inside your head? Kings and emperors became obsessed with that exact question, and 4 times in history, they actually tried it. They took real babies, and they raised them in silence. What happened next was so disturbing that science gave it a name, the Forbidden Experiment. An experiment so cruel that no scientist on Earth is allowed to run it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the strangest part. The experiment failed at its question, but it accidentally proved something far bigger. Something about you. So stay till the end, because the last part will change how you hear your own thoughts. Let's go back 2,500 years. Egypt. The pharaoh Psamtik I sits on his throne, and one question is eating him alive. Which people on Earth came first? The Egyptians or someone else? So he designs a test. Take 2 newborn babies. Give them to a silent shepherd. No one is allowed to speak a single word near them. The logic was simple. If no one teaches them a language, the first words they speak must be the original language of mankind, the language humans were born with. For 2 years, the babies heard nothing but wind and goats. Then one day, the shepherd opened the door, and both children ran to him, arms out, crying one word, bekos. Bekos. The pharaoh's scholars searched every known tongue, and they found it. Bekos meant bread, in Phrygian. So Psamtik declared it official. The Phrygians were the oldest people on Earth. Case closed. Except it wasn't. Modern researchers looked at this story again, and they noticed something. Bekos sounds exactly like baby babbling. The same sounds every baby on Earth makes. The children weren't speaking the first language of mankind. They were just babbling into the void. And desperate adults heard what they wanted to hear. But here's where the story turns dark, because the next king didn't want bread. He wanted God. The 13th century, the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II, one of the most powerful men alive. He wanted to know which language God gave to Adam and Eve. Hebrew, Greek, Latin, Arabic. So he ordered a new version of the experiment. Bigger, stricter. Take a group of infants, give them nurses. The nurses could feed the babies, bathe them, clean them. But there was one absolute rule. Never speak to them, never sing to them, never smile at them, never hold them warmly. No prattle, no play, no love, just silence. And then everyone waited to hear which holy language would come out of the children. No language came out, because the children didn't survive. One by one, the babies began to fade. They had food, they had warmth, they had clean beds, and they died anyway. A monk named Salimbene recorded what happened in his Chronicles, and he wrote one of the most haunting sentences in history. The children could not live without the clapping of hands, without gestures, without gladness of the face. Read that again. They didn't die from hunger. They didn't die from cold. They died from silence. Now stop and feel that for a second. A human baby can survive without many things, but apparently not without being spoken to, not without a smiling face looking back at it. Your body treats love like food, and starved of it, the body simply stops. So you'd think humanity learned its lesson. It didn't. 2 more kings tried. Around the 1500s, James IV of Scotland sent 2 babies to a lonely island called Inchkeith. Their only company was a mute woman. The legend says the children grew up speaking perfect Hebrew. Historians didn't buy it for a second. Even back then, they called it what it was, a fairy tale. Then came the Mughal emperor Akbar. He had a different theory. Akbar believed speech comes from hearing. No hearing, no speech. So he built something chilling, a house where babies were raised only by mute nurses. People called it the Dumb House. 4 years later, in 1582, Akbar visited. He stood in the doorway and listened. No words. No cries of conversation, no talisman of speech, nothing. Just the noise of the dumb. The children had grown bodies, but no language had grown inside them. Akbar walked away, convinced. Speech isn't planted in us by God, it is handed to us by people. And here's what's fascinating. Out of all 4 royal experiments, his is the one historians believe most likely actually happened. So what did all these kings actually prove? Nothing about the first language. There is no secret tongue buried in your DNA. No Hebrew waiting under your skin. No original word of Adam. Take away the people, and a child doesn't reveal an ancient language. A child gets nothing. silence in, silence out. And that's exactly why the modern world banned it. In 1980, the American scholar Roger Shattuck gave this whole dark history its name, the Forbidden Experiment. The one question science is desperate to answer, and the one experiment it is never allowed to run, because the price is a human mind. But scientists got close. Too close. In the 20th century, researchers ran total isolation experiments on baby monkeys. No mother, no contact, no faces. The setup had a nickname, the Pit of Despair. The monkeys came out psychologically shattered, broken in ways that often never healed. That was monkeys. Now, imagine the same thing done to a human child. That's why it's forbidden. And yet, here's the uncomfortable truth. The experiment still happens. Not in palaces, not in labs, by accident. Children lost in extreme neglect, raised in silence behind locked doors, found years later. Scientists call them feral children, and when researchers studied them after the fact, they saw the same brutal pattern. Language has a window. Miss the window, and the door doesn't just close. For some children, it never fully opens again. Words can be learned late, but the deep machinery of language, the flowing automatic sentences you're hearing in your head right now, that has to be installed in childhood. By people, by voices, by someone leaning over a crib saying nonsense, just because they love you. So let's come back to you. That voice in your head. The one reading this with you. You didn't build it, you didn't choose it, it was poured into you word by word before you could even understand what was happening. Every sentence you've ever thought, every secret you've kept, every dream you've had at night, all of it runs on borrowed software, installed by other people. Remove them from your past and you don't just lose words. You lose the voice you think with. You lose the thing reading this sentence. 4 kings wanted to find the language God gave to humans. They starved babies of love to find it. And the answer was staring at them the whole time. There is no built-in language. There is only us handing it to each other. One face, one word, one baby at a time. The kings were searching for the voice of God in silent children. But the real miracle was the thing they removed. A person who talks to you, you are made of other people's voices. And somewhere out there, someone is becoming made of yours.